The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks, June 16 to June 27, reveal that Kane Ashby will face some challenges while romantic relationships get complicated. Some surprising events are also on the way, so here's what viewers can expect. During the week of June 16 to 20, Adam Newman will decide to take a stand against Victor Newman and refuse to publish the articles that could damage Billy Abbott's reputation, which Chelsea Lawson will appreciate. It'll be easier for Adam to make this decision since Victor is away in France for Aristotle Dumis' party. We'll see if Adam maintains this position later, since Victor will surely be upset. However, Victor's focus will be on other matters, especially as Dumis is set to make a big reveal at this event. Although Victor will hint that he knows Dumis' true identity, he won't confirm anything. Carter, Dumis' assistant, will play an important role in explaining the rules of the challenges his boss has planned. Guests will have to participate in games if they want to win the prize of solving this mystery. Nick Newman and Sharon Newman will navigate a maze together, which could bring them closer. Phyllis Summers will explore the maze on her own, but may cross paths with Sharon, Nick, and others along the way. Lily Winters will show her determination in uncovering who's behind the Dumis mystery and will be surprised by what she finds. Dumis will make a dramatic entrance that's sure to shake things up. Billy Flynn appears to be taking over the role of Kane Ashby, so Lily is in for a significant surprise involving her former husband. Another secret is coming to light since Amanda Sinclair has a closer connection to Dumis than she has revealed. Amanda and Kane appear to be involved, which will be another major revelation. After the Dumis reveal, Jack Abbott, Diane Jenkins Abbott, Billy Abbott, Sally Spectra, and others will be caught off guard. Y and R spoilers suggest Sally will have a challenging time keeping Billy out of trouble during the week of June 23 to 27. Damian Kane may face some difficulties of his own. Amy Lewis sensed something unsettling before he left. If Damian is going to be involved in an upcoming mystery, viewers will be watching closely for clues. Meanwhile, Lily will seek answers from Kane and will have a serious conversation with him, along with Devin Winters and others at the party. Kyle Abbott will find himself drawn to Audra Charles due to the situation she's creating, which could eventually cause Claire Newman some sadness. More drama is expected in Genoa City as Maria Copeland considers sharing a difficult secret that could impact Tessa Porter deeply. This is especially true if Maria faces serious consequences for something that happened while she was away on business. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's Jolie here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Keep watching. Let's dive into today's video. On the Monday, June 16 episode of The Young and the Restless, look for Victor to reveal more about Dumis, Chelsea to make a confession, and Nate to confront Holden. Victor Newman rarely enters a situation without having the advantage. As he hinted to Chelsea last week, he likely knows more about Aristotle Dumis than anyone else. On Monday's episode, watch for Victor to share information about the mysterious man who has invited several Genoa City power players to his home in Nice. Victor will probably present the information in a way that benefits him most. As a skilled strategist, Victor may try to create competition between Dumis and the other guests to ensure he remains in control. His main goal is to protect Chancellor Industries, which is operated by Nikki. Chelsea took a risk with Victor last week by guessing that Dumis was Tucker McCall, but Victor told her she was mistaken. Fortunately, he also expressed admiration for her determination. On Monday, watch for Chelsea to make a heartfelt confession. The question is, to whom will she open up? Victor already suspects Chelsea was trying to influence his plans. Perhaps Chelsea will confess to Adam that she tried to negotiate with his father. Holden has been trying to reconnect with Audra, but with limited success. Nate, Audra's boyfriend, is becoming less patient. On Monday's show, watch for Nate to confront Holden. We wouldn't be surprised if Nate asks Holden to keep his distance from his girlfriend. This could lead to some tension, as Holden knows that his ex is working with Victor. Holden might mix some facts with rumors to give Nate a different perspective on Audra. While Audra is in France trying to carry out a plan with Victor, she could be at risk of losing her relationship back in Genoa City. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Sharon Newman could be facing a challenging moment on the global stage. Will Sharon's attempt to reconnect with Nick Newman in the French Riviera go as planned? The June 13 episode brought some concerning news for Phyllis Summers, who was not pleased to hear about Tessa Porter's updates regarding Sharon. When Phyllis found out Sharon would be attending Aristotle Dumis' party, she became worried about the possibility of Sharon interfering with her plans. Now that Phyllis and Sharon have reached an understanding and have been spending more time together, Phyllis insisted she was fine with Sharon. That said, Phyllis has a lot invested in this trip and doesn't want Sharon to disrupt her goals. Phyllis joked that Sharon might accidentally fall into the Mediterranean if she knew Nick was there to help her. It's clear Phyllis imagines Sharon as the vulnerable one and Nick as the protector. However, Phyllis ultimately suggested that Sharon could embarrass herself on a global stage going after Nick if she wants. Preventing any interference related to Dumis is what matters most to Phyllis. Since Phyllis predicts Sharon might struggle with her actions around Nick, that could be a hint about where Sharon's story is headed. Y&R spoilers suggest some self-sabotage might be brewing, and that includes Nick too. Nick's already making mistakes, as he says one thing but acts differently regarding Sharon. Although Nick keeps insisting they're just friends, he might be leading Sharon on with all the traveling they've been doing together. Nick pushed for Sharon to attend Dumis' party, so he may be giving her mixed signals if he doesn't truly want a reunion. Of course, Sharon is making mistakes of her own, probably thinking that if she's patient, she can win Nick back. While that's possible, it's also possible Sharon might end up feeling embarrassed, just as Phyllis suggested. Even if Sharon and Nick cross a personal boundary on this trip, it doesn't guarantee a perfect ending when they return. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Lily Winters will face a difficult time as several challenging events unfold in Nice. Aristotle Dumis' party will bring some surprises and emotional moments, so let's discuss the drama headed Lily's way. When Lily arrives at the big event, she'll be eager to uncover the truth behind the Dumis mystery. However, Lily won't get the answers she was hoping for when the situation unravels. The evidence suggests that Dumis might actually be Kane Ashby under a new identity, living a double life. Based on Lily's past comments, Kane still interacts with their grown twins and has been keeping this other persona hidden. That's likely to be upsetting for Lily, who is the mother of Kane's children and once deeply cared for him. Lily won't appreciate feeling missiled, so this will be a major emotional setback. Next, it looks like Lily will learn that Kane has developed feelings for a new woman. All signs point to Amanda Sinclair being in a relationship with Kane, based on the latest Y&R spoilers. Amanda is Dumis' attorney, but she also has another connection to him that will soon be revealed. It's easy to imagine Amanda supporting Kane and sharing a moment with him once he drops the Dumis persona in front of everyone. That will be another way for Lily to feel hurt and possibly a bit jealous. Lily's frustration will continue to grow as this Kane situation unfolds in France. Just before Damian Kane left on this trip, Amy Lewis felt uneasy. Amy's final hug with Damian before his flight gave her a strange feeling, something that often signals trouble in the soap world. Since Y&R has a big mystery ahead, Lily might discover something unexpected at some point. If Damian's whereabouts become a concern, Lily could be the one to find out and react strongly. Lily has been building a connection with Damian, so this could be a difficult moment, especially as she thinks about how this news will affect Amy and Nate Hastings. The Young and the Restless scoop for Monday, June 16, reveals Adam Newman will be willing to challenge his father's expectations. Also coming up, Sharon Newman, Nikki Newman, and Nick Newman will question Victor Newman about Aristotle Dumis' identity. Plus, Billy Abbott will have a sharp exchange with Victor on the way to Dumis' chateau. And Nate Hastings will urge Holden Novak to consider leaving town. Y&R spoilers tease Chelsea Lawson will keep talking about something, but Adam will remain focused. He'll say Victor is expecting him to address some concerns about Billy tomorrow. But Chelsea will say his father will be preoccupied. She'll ask if there's anything else they can do, but Adam will say he's out of ideas. Chelsea will express a wish that they could just forget about all the drama and focus on running the company. Billy is just part of the bigger picture, Adam will say. Jack's the real target. He'll acknowledge Chelsea has a soft spot for Billy, but believes his track record speaks for itself. However, even though he knows his father will be upset, Adam won't go forward with the planned actions against Billy. At the GZAC bar, Holden Novak will share his frustrations with Nate Hastings about Damian Kane. Nate will remind him they both faced setbacks because of Dumis. Holden will say he'll be fine on his own. He's resilient. So Nate will suggest that since Holden is out of work, maybe he should consider going back to Le. That's a good one, Nate, Holden will reply. He'll also admit that he's more bothered by his connection to Audra Charles than he's let on. Meanwhile, Victor, Nikki, Nick, and Sharon will explore the train car where they've been invited. Sharon will find an envelope on the table that says, "Welcome," and hand it to Victor. It's from Dumis, and he'll read it aloud. The sum of all human misery is contained in the two words, wait and hope. Victor will then ask who this man thinks he is. Nikki will ask what the last line means, and Victor will explain it's a quote from the Count of Monte Cristo. Sharon will say she's going to pass on the champagne and caviar Dumis has provided, since she doesn't know who she's dealing with. And neither does anyone else, she adds. But Nick will start eating and tell Sharon the food is fine. Victor will ask when the other guests are expected to arrive and make a few comments about Dumis. Nikki will ask her husband if he knows Dumis' real identity. Before he can answer, Billy and Sally Spectra will arrive. "Hey Billy boy," Victor will greet him. Billy will ask what everyone thinks Dumis has planned. The only thing that will be revealed in the next few days is what a surprise this will be, Victor replies. But Billy says Victor is the one about to learn something new. They'll all sit around in the train car discussing Dumis. "Weren't you just about to tell us who Dumis really is?" Sharon will ask Victor. "Let me put it this way. Wherever this journey takes us, at the end, we will all meet Aristotle Dumis," he replies. The episode will close with Dumis watching the train car on a video monitor. "It won't be long now," he says to himself. And if Dumis does turn out to be Kane Ashby, which many spoilers suggest, the character will no longer have an Australian accent. Keep reading the Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news, and make sure to join our My and our Facebook group or leave a reply in the comments section. If you miss an episode, don't worry, you can watch The Young and The Restless online at cbs.com. In the picturesque hills of Nice, France, a lavish party hosted at the sprawling estate of the enigmatic Aristotle Dumis promises an evening of elegance and mystery for Genoa City's most influential figures. What began as a glittering social event quickly became a night filled with tension and unexpected challenges, leaving the elite of Genoa City navigating uncertainty and surprising revelations that could change their relationships and alliances. The event, heralded by mysterious black envelopes adorned with gold seals, drew the likes of Jack Abbott, Ashley Abbott, Nikki Newman, Victor Newman, and other prominent names from Genoa City. For weeks, these invitations sparked whispers of curiosity and anticipation, as no one could understand why Dumis, a man rarely seen in public and known only in corporate circles, chose this moment to gather such a formidable group. What unfolded that night would test loyalties, uncover hidden truths, and forever shift the balance of influence among the city's elite. The black envelopes arrived unannounced, landing in the mailboxes of Genoa City's most influential families. For Jack Abbott, head of the Abbott dynasty, the invitation stirred deep curiosity. Known for his unwavering loyalty to family, Jack sensed something was off when his sister Ashley, once his closest confidant, began acting distant. Her frequent business trips, evasive demeanor, and a cryptic phone call overheard in the Abbott garden, where the name Dumis surfaced, deepened his concern. Jack's instincts, sharpened by years of navigating corporate and family challenges, told him Ashley was involved in something complicated. Ashley, meanwhile, felt torn. Drawn to Dumis's magnetic charm and promises of influence beyond the Abbott legacy, she found herself stepping into a high-stakes situation. Yet, she knew aligning with Dumis came with serious risks that could affect her family and everything she valued. As Jack discreetly monitored her movements, using his connections in security and finance, he uncovered links between Ashley and Dumis that suggested her involvement went beyond a simple association. The invitations weren't exclusive to the Abbotts. Nikki Newman, a seasoned figure in Genoa City's social circles, initially thought the event was just another routine gala. But when she learned that rivals like Victor, Phyllis Summers, Billy Abbott, and even out-of-town competitors had received identical envelopes, her instincts sharpened. The question lingered: who was truly behind these invitations, and what was their intention? Rumors circulated that not all invitations came directly from Dumis. Some arrived through anonymous event planners or intermediaries, accompanied by mysterious messages hinting at life-changing opportunities or surprising revelations. This fueled speculation that an unseen organizer was orchestrating a grand plan, with the party as the setting for an elaborate encounter. The Dumis estate, a vision of grandeur with its marble halls and strong security, buzzed with quiet tension as guests arrived. Beneath the polite smiles and clinking champagne glasses lay a web of secret negotiations and simmering rivalries. Jack kept a watchful eye on Ashley, while Nikki and Victor scanned the room for clues about their mysterious host. Unfamiliar faces from Europe mingled with America's wealthiest, adding to the unease. The evening unfolded smoothly until a sudden disturbance drew everyone's attention. Guests moved toward a dimly lit hallway, where they found one of Genoa City's most prominent figures resting after an unexpected fall near a broken statue. The lavish party shifted into a scene of heightened concern, and with the estate's security doors locked, no one could leave. Nervous energy grew as a young French detective, introduced as a friend of Dumis's late butler, began asking detailed questions about motives, relationships, and the authenticity of the invitations. Surprisingly, many guests admitted their invitations had come from varied sources, raising doubts about their origin. On a crisp evening in the hills above Nice, France, a luxury train carrying some of Genoa City's most prominent figures was meant to be a symbol of opulence and exclusivity. Designed by the enigmatic Aristotle Dumis, the gleaming train promised an unforgettable journey to his private chateau. Instead, it became the setting for a troubling incident, leaving passengers shaken and questions unanswered. Among the travelers were Victor Newman, his wife Nikki, their son Nick, and Sharon Rosales, all involved in what authorities now believe was a carefully planned disruption. As the situation settled, the event revealed a web of intrigue, power struggles, and unresolved tensions that could reshape Genoa City's elite. The train, a masterpiece of steel and marble, was more than just a mode of transport. It was central to a carefully crafted experience. From the moment it departed, Victor Newman, a titan of industry known for his sharp instincts, sensed something unusual. Aristotle Dumis, the train's designer and host, had been unusually insistent on ensuring the Newman family occupied a single lavish carriage near the front. To Victor, this wasn't simple hospitality. It was a cause for caution. Decades of navigating corporate challenges had honed Victor's alertness. Before boarding, he took precautions. A satellite phone hidden in his coat, a few emergency items tucked away, and a mental map of every exit. His family, Nikki, Nick, and Sharon, remained unaware of these measures, seeing the trip as another glamorous getaway. But Victor saw through the surface, suspecting Dumis had other motives. As the train wound through the forested hills, the first signs of trouble appeared. Cell service dropped, and Dumis's staff grew scarce, retreating into the background. Then, a sudden mechanical issue caused a sharp smell of overheated oil and smoke, prompting concern among the passengers. Within seconds, the corridor outside the Newman carriage filled with thick smoke and flickering orange light. Alarmed voices echoed from neighboring cars as the lights failed, creating confusion throughout the train. Nikki paused, coughing from the smoke. Sharon struggled with a jammed exit door, while Nick tried to open a window. Victor, however, stayed composed. Retrieving a sturdy steel bar he kept handy, he managed to open the main door, revealing a hallway filled with dense smoke and glowing light. With care, he guided his family through the haze, shielding them from the intense heat. Sharon took Nikki's hand, Nick wrapped a damp towel over his face, and Victor led them by memory to an emergency exit. Their escape was tense but successful. As they reached the connector between carriages, a sudden surge of heat caused part of the wall to crack inward, confirming Victor's concerns. The train had been tampered with to create a dangerous situation. Using a heavy case, he carefully broke a window to help Nikki, Sharon, and Nick exit to safety. But Victor wasn't finished. Others, Kyle Abbott, Audra Charles, Claire Grace, and possibly Jack Abbott, were still unaccounted for in the rear carriages. Despite the increasing smoke and heat, Victor went back, only to be startled by a loud noise that shook the train, causing him to stumble. Disoriented but determined, he emerged from the area, his face smudged with soot but his resolve clear. "This wasn't an accident," he said quietly. "This was deliberate." As the train came to a stop, smoke rose into the night sky, a visible sign of the incident. Nikki, Sharon, and Nick, wrapped in thermal blankets, were relieved to be safe but worried for the missing passengers. Nikki was visibly shaken, her gown torn and skin marked by the smoke, while Sharon was quiet, absorbing the experience, and Nick was deep in thought. Victor was silent, already working through the situation. A distant sound from the nearby woods, whether real or imagined, added to the mystery. Local responders quickly arrived, with helicopters circling overhead and news of the fire spreading through Genoa City. Among the missing were Kyle, Audra, Claire, and possibly Jack, who had not been seen since the night before. The uncertainty weighed heavily on the survivors, especially Nikki, who hoped others had found another way out. Victor, however, was convinced the incident was a targeted act intended to send a clear message to him and those close to him. The train incident was just the start. Later, at Dumis's estate where the survivors gathered, the atmosphere was tense. Billy Abbott's undisclosed dealings with Dumis, involving promises of influence in a global media initiative, strained his relationship with Sally Spectra, who uncovered the secret. Nikki wrestled with old emotions stirred by the presence of Sharon and Phyllis Summers, while Victor stayed alert, sensing that Dumis's next move was approaching. A formal speech from Dumis, celebrating the guests' survival, was interrupted by a sudden noise from the estate's gardens, a reminder that the situation was far from resolved. The disruption of the luxury train trip has shaken Genoa City's community, exposing fragile alliances and trust issues. Victor Newman's survival, fueled by careful planning and quick thinking, highlighted his resilience, but the consequences were significant. The missing passengers, the shadow of betrayal, and Aristotle Dumis's unclear intentions have set the stage for further developments. As investigations continue and the survivors process what happened, one thing is clear: this was no random incident. It was a deliberate message, and its effects will be felt far beyond the hills of Nice. For now, Genoa City waits anxiously to learn who is safe, who remains missing, and what Victor Newman's next steps will be. In the rolling hills of the French countryside, far from Genoa City's corporate affairs and whispered secrets, the grand chateau Dumis stood as a symbol of elegance. Once an aging symbol of old wealth, it had been transformed into a modern masterpiece under the direction of Aristotle Dumis. On a warm June evening, the estate hosted a gala promising luxury, networking, and celebration for some of Genoa City's most influential figures. But what unfolded was a puzzling mystery that left one guest missing, a troubling discovery in the gardens, and a group of powerful individuals questioning who among them could be trusted. The gala, billed as a gathering of visionaries, brought together familiar faces like Victor and Nikki Newman, Sharon Rosales, Lily Winters, and Phyllis Summers, alongside rising star Damian Kane, representing an emerging investment group. They arrived expecting elegance and perhaps a few business deals accompanied by champagne toasts. Instead, they found themselves caught up in a carefully arranged drama where every move was observed, every word noted, and one of them would unexpectedly go missing. The evening began with the polished charm expected of such an event. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over the ballroom, and Aristotle Dumis welcomed his guests with a smile that felt a bit rehearsed. Damian Kane, arriving fashionably late, sensed an underlying tension. Locked rooms, attentive staff, and an absence of phone signals made him uneasy. He confided in Claire Newman, a familiar face, that the chateau felt more like a set than a celebration. As the night went on, subtle tensions grew. Victor Newman, ever the strategist, grew suspicious of the estate's atmosphere, whispering to Nikki that it felt off. Phyllis, hoping to regain her influence, found herself outmaneuvered in an environment where control was elusive. Lily Winters, quietly bonding with Damian over their shared outsider status, noticed his unease about the chateau's layout and the unusual late-night sounds near the wine cellar. Just after midnight, a sudden disturbance from the east wing caused a stir. Guests hurried to the ballroom, feeling uneasy as Dumis's staff calmly guided them to a waiting area. Damian Kane was nowhere to be found. His room was empty, his bed untouched, and a subtle trail of footprints led through the northern garden's hedges. A broken cufflink, monogrammed with Damian's initials, was discovered near the wine cellar door, deepening the mystery. Back in Genoa City, Amy Lewis, Damian's mother, had felt uneasy days earlier as she hugged him goodbye outside Crimson Lights. Her concern, dismissed by Nate Hastings as pre-travel nerves, now seemed prescient. "I got a bad feeling like something's about to happen to him," she had said. As news of Damian's disappearance reached her, Amy sat alone, replaying his last voicemail. "I'm not sure what I'm walking into, but something tells me this isn't just a party. I'll call you tomorrow. Love you." The call never came. At the chateau, the guests' shock turned to concern. Victor and Nick Newman requested access to the security room, while Sharon and Lily urged Dumis not to delay action until morning. The discovery of a hidden recording device in Damian's suite, containing a cassette labeled Truth, sent a chill through the group. When played, Damian's voice came through. "If you're hearing this, it means I was right, and it means one of you made sure I couldn't share what I found." The tape ended suddenly, leaving more questions than answers. Dumis, unfazed, revealed a surveillance hub beneath the chateau, admitting that every moment had been monitored. "One of you is responsible for what happened to Mr. Kane," he declared, turning friends into suspects. Whispers became accusations. Claire eyed Kyle Abbott cautiously, Phyllis clashed with Nikki, and Audra Charles's calm demeanor raised eyebrows. Trust evaporated, and Dumis seemed to take some satisfaction in the discord. As dawn broke, French authorities arrived, unfazed by the American guests' demands. The estate was placed under a precautionary hold, and while no definitive answers had surfaced, theories abounded. Had Damian uncovered a secret about Dumis's surveillance operation? Was he prevented from sharing sensitive information? Phyllis suggested he might have been planning to reveal details, a theory Nikki firmly rejected. Lily, saddened by the loss of a close confidant, replayed their last conversation, where Damian had mentioned repurposed rooms and unusual sounds near the wine cellar. Nate, feeling regret over their strained relationship, wished for more time. Sharon withdrew inward, searching her memories for clues, while Victor vowed to hold Dumis accountable if any wrongdoing was discovered. The press soon caught wind of the incident, spinning stories ranging from misunderstanding to miscommunication. But for those at the chateau, it was more than just headlines. They had been caught up in a situation beyond their understanding, and Damian's absence was a sobering reminder of the risks of uncovering the truth. The cassette's contents remained a mystery, but its existence suggested Damian had uncovered something or someone that made his presence at the chateau complicated. Young and the Restless spoilers for next week hint at a growing mystery. Damian Kane might be at the center based on new clues. Jack Abbott has some concerns about what lies ahead. Lily Winters senses trouble on the horizon. The enigmatic host reveals himself as a complex character as his event unfolds with unexpected twists. Dumis has big plans ahead. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt. Let's dive into the latest Y and R spoilers for the week of June 16th, and definitely subscribe if you haven't yet. By the end of this week, on Friday the 13th, we've got Damian eating breakfast with his mom, Amy Lewis, at Society before he leaves for France. Damian worked for the mysterious Dumis for a while, but he's never actually met him. Amy says the mystery surrounding Damian's former boss Dumis is pretty intriguing. But Damian tells his mom he wouldn't even recognize Dumis if the guy sat down right in front of him. Amy is impressed with how far Damian has come since his rebellious teen years, when he gave her quite an attitude. It's interesting that he's going along with Lily and the others to Dumis's party. I mean, the guy fired him but then invited Damian anyway. It's unusual. It raises questions about Dumis's intentions, I think. As of now, Damian is looking forward to working with Nate Hastings and Lily. Everything seems to be falling into place for him. Before he leaves, Amy asks about Damian forgiving her for not telling him the truth about his biological dad. Damian says he's happy his mom is back in his life and is open to forgiveness. So it seems like they're finding some closure, which sounds nice. But the timing feels a bit like a warning. Obviously, she doesn't think Damian going to this party is a great idea. But he tells Amy he's not going to Dumis looking for trouble. He just wants to find out what Dumis is planning. Then Damian tells his mom he's curious. We all know curiosity can be risky. It's another warning sign. He says he hopes to get some answers from Dumis. Damian wants reassurance that he didn't cause any problems for Lily. Before we get to a really big hint that has me worried about Damian's future, I've got a couple of other tidbits. Lily, Devin Hamilton, Abby Newman, and Nate are talking about Dumis' true identity. They wonder whether it might possibly be Devin's dad, Tucker McCall. They don't know what Victor Newman is up to. Tucker's been away for a while. Lily mentions Audra Charles being invited. Abby thinks Victor arranged that. But Abby also defends Victor, insisting he wouldn't target the Winters family. To be fair, I think Abby might be underestimating Victor's drive. Devin, Nate, and Lily also wonder if Dumis might recruit them for something involving Victor, which upsets Abby again. Then Damian and Amy show up, and it's time for Damian to get ready for his flight to France. After Devin, Lily, Damian, and Abby leave, that's when the big hint drops. All that's left is Amy and Nate at the apartment. Amy tells Nate that when she hugged Damian goodbye, she got an uneasy feeling. Nate thinks Amy is just worried because Damian's leaving town. But with Damian's serious talk with Amy that gave her closure and his big plans for the future, plus her uneasy feeling, I just worry that Damian might face unexpected challenges at Dumis's big party on Young and the Restless. Joshua Morrow has teased a big mystery coming up, so we know something significant is about to happen. That said, it could also be a clever twist that Dumis is setting up just to test everyone. In that case, Damian could even be part of the plan. So we have to keep all possibilities open. Maybe he's working with Dumis and wasn't really fired. Just different options to consider. The writer tends to keep us guessing. If I&R does write Damian out, that would be a big deal. Not as huge as losing longtime legacy characters like Victor, Jack Abbott, or Billy Abbott. Also, if Dumis is actually a recast of Kane Ashby, that could explain why Damian might be a focus since he's close to Lily. He could be competition for Kane as Lily's love interest. Remember, Lily is Kane's ex-wife and the mother of 2 of his children. So if it is Kane, he'd likely try to win Lily back. But if something dramatic happens, it would be out of character for Kane to be involved negatively. He's got a past of being deceptive but not harmful in that way. Even if Dumis isn't the person behind the upcoming mystery, Damian might still be caught up in the situation. Or again, it could all be a clever ruse. Dumis might have invited Damian to help orchestrate a complex social event that tests everyone. There's also a train ride planned, which feels very Agatha Christie, like a classic mystery setting. We'll see Sharon Newman sitting with Nick Newman, excited as the train pulls away. Billy is with Sally Spectra, and he asks Victor if he's ready to head into Dumis' event. On the train, Lily Winters mentions she has a feeling that things might not go exactly as planned. Next week, when all the guests take the train to Dumis' chateau, they won't be simply welcomed through the front door. There's no red carpet being rolled out. It's unusual. We'll see Audra Charles and Kyle Abbott, along with Jack and Diane Jenkins, talking with Dumis's assistant, Carter, if you remember him. It looks like they're heading into some kind of topiary labyrinth. Jack asks Carter if this is a maze. Carter tells Jack, "It is the beginning of your challenge." Meanwhile, Dumis is sitting alone in a dimly lit room, watching the guests through a video feed. This has a classic mystery feel, very Agatha Christie, very much like Knives Out. It's a puzzling scenario from the start with those old-fashioned mystery vibes. It's all very strange and cryptic. As Joshua Morrow hinted, a mystery is unfolding. So what will happen to Damian during the week? Could it be someone unexpected, like a minor character who faces a surprising setback? Or maybe it will be Dumis's assistant Carter who encounters an unexpected twist, since he appears in scenes next week. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest the identity of the upcoming mystery's central figure might have just been hinted at. Is Damian Kane's time on the show coming to a dramatic turning point? In the June 13 episode, Amy Lewis expressed some concern about Aristotle Dumis' party and whatever the mystery guest might have planned. Damian reassured his mom, but Amy had a strange moment shortly after. After a warm embrace with Damian before his trip, Amy told Nate Hastings she felt a sudden chill during the hug. It left Amy wondering what it meant, but we have a strong feeling something important is at play. Although Nate tried to ease her worries, Amy's comment feels like a major clue about something significant involving Damian. Since Joshua Morrow mentioned in a cameo video that a mystery is coming, could Damian be at the center of the unfolding drama? Damian is still a relatively new character on the show, but it seems like the writers might be planning a big storyline for him. Amy doesn't realize it yet, but her recent feelings during their goodbye may be a hint of something serious ahead. Amy's been reflecting on lost time with Damian, but she might face even bigger emotional challenges if Damian doesn't return from his trip. There's already some buzz about both Damian and Amy possibly exiting the show, which fits with Amy's unsettling comment. If Damian's character does leave, it could lead to Amy's departure as well. Either way, Amy's feeling about Damian definitely signals something important. With this mystery approaching quickly, it will be interesting to see how Damian's story unfolds. Do you think Damian's storyline will reach a dramatic conclusion during the Dumis party? Will you miss him if he leaves the show? In the glamorous world of the young and the restless, ambition, loyalty, and surprises come together as Audra Charles steps into what she believes is her moment to shine. With her goal to launch the cosmetics company of her dreams and strengthen her relationship with Nate Hastings, Audra seems ready for success. But as events unfold, it becomes clear she might be stepping into a carefully crafted situation, one that could challenge everything she's worked for. Audra's hopes rely on a high-stakes plan set by Victor Newman. He has promised to fully fund her company, Vibrant, but only if she agrees to help with a tricky situation. She must intervene in the relationship between Kyle Abbott and Claire Grace. Victor wants to remove Claire from the picture, and he's using Audra's involvement as part of his plan. Although Audra agreed to this, she's hesitant to go too far. She doesn't want to betray Nate, and trying to come between Kyle and Claire isn't something she's comfortable with, especially since Kyle clearly cares for Claire and isn't interested in rekindling anything with Audra. Still, Victor's request stands, and the pressure grows. With a glamorous perfume event in France as the setting, Audra tries to create the perfect moment to isolate Kyle and create the appearance that he has been unfaithful without actually crossing any personal boundaries herself. Kyle initially refuses to attend the event, but Jack and Diane Abbott have their own plan. Knowing Victor might be manipulating things, they encourage Kyle to go, believing that keeping an eye on Audra is the best way to protect him. However, this move might create unexpected challenges for Audra as well. Jack and Diane don't fully trust her, and they're ready to step in if she tries anything deceptive. They're aware of her reputation and suspect she might use her charm or other clever tactics to carry out Victor's plan. As her options become limited, Audra considers increasingly bold moves. Could she stage misleading photos, send confusing messages, or adjust Kyle's phone to create misunderstandings? These ideas cross her mind, driven by worry and the fear of losing both Nate and her chance at success. However, Victor's true intentions remain unclear. He has already shown little regard for Audra and may never have intended to follow through on his promises. In reality, she could be just a pawn in a long-standing conflict between the Newmans and the Abbotts. Meanwhile, Nate is growing suspicious. Audra has already been less than truthful about her trip to France, and although he doesn't know all the details, he senses something is amiss. One misstep, one revealed secret, and her entire relationship could fall apart. The stakes couldn't be higher. Audra is caught between two influential forces: Victor, who holds sway over the financial future of her company, and the Abbotts, who are ready to scrutinize her every move. If her plan fails, she could lose both Nate and Vibrant in one swift blow. There is only one possible way out: honesty. If Audra decides to be upfront with Kyle and expose Victor's manipulation, she might salvage some of her integrity. But the damage may already be done. Even if she never follows through with her plan, her dishonesty and scheming could be enough to harm her relationship with Nate and undermine her standing among her allies. Adding to the uncertainty is Holden, a wild card in this complex situation. While he may seem to support Audra, his true intentions are unclear. He could just as easily reveal her, especially if it serves his interests. As Audra enters the elegant party in France, she believes she's in control. But what lies ahead is not a celebration, it's a turning point. Caught in a complicated power struggle, she risks becoming an unintended casualty in a conflict far bigger than herself. Fans of the young and the restless can expect intense drama as this story reaches its climax. With secrets on the verge of being revealed and alliances shifting unexpectedly, one thing is certain. Audra Charles is in deeper than she realizes, and her dream may soon be tested.